John Less here of Less Archery Adventures. Series testing, successful hunting. Today I'm going to be testing another head by Evolution, and it is their JEKYLL. Okay, previously I tested the Hyde, which is the mechanical version, but they have interchangeable blades within the same ferrule where you can turn it into a fixed blade, and that's what I'm going to be testing here today in the 125 grain version. Now they also make a heavier version that they call their dangerous game head, and that's where the blades are all solid and it's all steel. Like there's some impressive things about that broadhead, and I'll test that another time. But today I'm going to be testing this one, and I'm using my process for 2024. And for a detailed description about that, and to understand why I do the tests I do, and how I do them, and how I correlate the scoring and so forth, and tabulate the scoring, please check out the video I posted earlier this year called 2024 Broadhead Test Process, and it'll really help you understand more. And I'm going to be shooting with my Elite Era bow that's doing really well. And for the flight testing, I'm using this Killer Instinct SWAT X1 crossbow. All the arrows that I'm using are Bishop Archery arrows because I love them. This is the FOC King I do for most of the shooting. Then the Fat Eliminator when I shoot stuff into hard stuff like concrete. And then this is their GOAT bolt. It's just like an amazing little missile here. All right, let's zoom on in here and check out the JEKYLL and then put it to the test. This is a really cool looking head. You can see it spins very well. The tolerances are really good. They're all machined blades in the United States. Let's start with the materials. The ferrule here on the 125 grain version is a 416 stainless steel, and then the blades are a 420 stainless steel. So it's all stainless steel. The blades, both this leading blade and the main blade, are 0.060 inches thick. So nice thick cut on contact heads, and you notice they have this this curved blade to them. That's just going to aid in penetration. I found that the curved blades, while somewhat more challenging to sharpen, really do aid in penetration as well as in durability. Sometimes they're sharpened on the front as well as the back. Now for sharpening this, I would use a Stay Sharp Guide C guide, and that's just designed for all concave and convex or curved heads, so you'd be able to get these angles just right on all these curves. It would make it a lot easier to sharpen. The dimensions in this leading blade is 3/4 of an inch, and the main blade is 1 inch, so not a shabby 1 3/4 inch total cutting edge. And then the cool thing about this head is that it's modular, so you can replace these blades with other blades. You can replace them with their dangerous game head, and it's 150 grain, but those main blades are all solid. And you notice these are pretty vented. Okay, that's gonna it reduces weight. It's gonna make them a little bit more challenging. I'm not sure how they're gonna do in, say, the steel plate. They'll probably do pretty well in most animal situations, but the dangerous game head will be a bit more durable as it adds that extra solid 25 grains to it. And then you can also replace the blades with a mechanical head, and so you have this design right here, and I've tested that. That's called the Hyde, so it's the JEKYLL turns into the Hyde, the mechanical, and I already have a video testing this mechanical version, but now I'm going to be testing the fixed blade version. So really eager to put this head to the test and see how it performs. It got the solid 9 ring. It took 204 grams of force to cut through the wire, which is a 9.96 on a 10-point scale. It penetrated 8.5 inches. It took an additional 59 grams of force to cut through the wire, which is an 8.82 on a 10-point scale. It penetrated through 71 layers, which is one of the best that I've ever tested. And at the same time, it's important to note that this head, it's not like a long, narrow tip like many of the mechanicals. It's cutting quite a bit of tissue as it penetrates through each of those layers. head is in pristine condition after the 3 shots through the MDF. Here it is after just the first shot through the steel plate, and you can see the hole. It made a really nice hole in the steel. However, the main blade broke. You can see it fractured right there into a couple pieces. The tip actually did fairly well. I mean, it got a little bit of edge chatter there, but it held up pretty well. But that main blade with its venting just couldn't handle that kind of a hard impact. Here's the JEKYLL after all the durability testing. It did perfectly well on the MDF, which is the most important. And then through the steel plate, it lost its main blade on the first shot through the steel plate. So then I went ahead and shot it into the center block, and it did really well into the center block. You can see this leading blade got a little bit jacked up there, but the ferrule held together very well and still spins very true. And you know, if you wanted a more durable model, then go with the Dangerous Game, and you know, the solid ones, I think that would have held up much better through the steel plate. But it is just interesting to see how this one fared in that testing as well. So what'd you think? Man, I tell you, this is really a fantastic broadhead. This whole modular system between the JEKYLL and the hide, even the name is like so cool, okay? The JEKYLL can turn into the hide can actually turn back into the JEKYLL too. That interchangeability is really a bonus. And man, this head just performed very well. The only weaknesses, and they weren't really that great, but is in the super hard impact, like shooting into steel. And such is to be expected when you have such a venting in a cut-on contact tip like that. That was really no surprise. And that's why in their Dangerous Game version, they have just a solid blade, and I imagine you're not going to have that durability issue. But I really wouldn't expect that to be a problem on animals anyway. And but you stay tuned to see the overall cumulative score. It actually scored really well. And you check out the score sheet that I include in the description below this video to see how it performed in each of the areas that I test and the areas that matter to you the most, and see if this might be a good fit for you. But man, I think they're on to something here. They've been doing it for a couple years, and Dale Perry is just in a class by himself when it comes to broadhead design. After I tested the JEKYLL and the hide, they performed so well that I reached out to Dale and I asked him if I could get a discount code to pass on to my viewers, and he gave me one. So if you type in LUSK10, L-U-S-K 10, LUSK10, then you get 10% off any order. So that's really nice. And just stay tuned. I'll list all the different discount codes that I have for you just to pass on some savings. But fantastic job, Dale, and great job with all your broadheads.